Hi everybody, Lori here for Honeybee Stamps. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun, colorful project to share with you featuring the small crayon box card Honey Cuts. And here she is. It's not a new die set, but it's one that I always loved, and I finally got my hot little hands on it. And it makes this cute crayon box with a crayon card that you can slide in and out of the crayon box that if you love crayons the way I love crayons, or just basically any art supply, gotta have it, can't live without it, then you're gonna love this die set. But today I'm only using the 2 crayon dies themselves. I'm gonna die cut a bunch of crayons. So for every crayon, I'm doing 2 colors. So this is the red crayon, or pinky red crayon. The liner wrapper right here I'm doing out of bright red, and then the crayon itself is kind of a lighter pinky red. Then when you layer the 2 like so, you get yourself a pretty little crayon. I'm going to work my way through, of course, in rainbow order. So every crayon gets 2 shades. Here's the orange one. And what I did was I rummaged through, I always say this, I rummaged through my scrap bin solid color cardstock drawer. And I had myself a good old-fashioned hissy fit today because I haven't been keeping up the maintenance on the drawer. Starting to get a little hairy in there. Paper's getting bent. And so I took all the paper in my scrap drawer and I just threw it on the floor. And it's just all of it. I should have took a picture because it would have given you a nice little chuckle. But at the time, I was not chuckling. I was huffing and puffing and I was mad. So I sit down on the floor and I'm trying to find all these colors for these crayons. And then, I said to myself, I'm gonna be the bigger person today. I'm gonna organize this paper. So I put it all in piles, like a red pinky pile, orange pile, green pile, blue pile, purple pile. Got them all in nice piles. And then guess what I did to finish it all off? I took all the piles and I shoved them right back into my scrap bin drawer. And that pretty much symbolized that, like, if you could take my home, how I run it in a nutshell, that's what I do. I organize and then I shove it. So I got all these crayons adhered. Once you get them adhered, you could do all different types of layouts. I think anything you do with all these colors is going to look fantastic. I'm kind of going on a diagonal type of a vibe here. So that's what I'm doing, getting the lay of the land. Once I get them how I want them to go, I take a strip of Post-it tape to hold that design down. I flip the card over. By the way, I have a white card base here. It's Nina Solar White, 110 pound, nice and sturdy. And I'm taking just a little marker to mark where the edges of these crayons are. So when I go to put foam tape on the back, I don't put foam tape where it doesn't need to go. It's all about conserving, being thrifty, being nifty. But it's also, you ever try to trim off excess stuff hanging off your card when it's got foam tape on it? It can get a little hairy. Also, when your paper trimmer can get a little gummy, sometimes almost impossible. So that's why I was doing that. I was thinking ahead. I'm not always a good think-aheader, but today I did. Now I'm going to pop this right back on my white card base. You could do any angle, straight up, straight down, left, right. I kind of use that diagonal angle that's on my grid mat. That was my inspiration. And then I'll flip this over. I've got my Tim Holtz guillotine. I used to say guillotine. I like to say guillotine. It kind of like gill. It kind of rolls off like the guillotine, but I think guillotine is actually the correct way. But you know what? Potato, potato. Tomato, tomato. I say gyro. A lot of people say gyro. To me, that just seems crazy. But you know what I mean? Guillotine, guillotine. If you make a good card, hey, you do you, right? Now for the sentiment, I'm using the Rainbow Wishes stamp set. Another oldie but a goodie. If you make a lot of rainbow cards, this one has some great sentiment. It says hugs, kisses, and rainbow wishes. So I'm inking this up with Versamark ink on black cardstock and then pouring on some white embossing powder. I love to do a white on black sentiment when I have a really colorful card because it just pops like Shazam. Then I heat it with the heat gun, and lucky for me, there is a coordinating die set to this Rainbow Wishes. And so I could die cut my sentiment, which worked perfectly because I knew I wanted to pop this up right into the crayons. Tie the sentiment in with the design. So I popped it up right there, right in with the crayons. And then to finish it off, I added a few little sparkling clear sequins, 3 different sizes, tucking them, staggering them here and there for a little blingity bling, and this card is finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.